no salary for free.
Yeah, and service.
Yes, really service. And this kind of thing is also service for me, and kind of academic service. So, and I'm more research focused, but other professors, for example, Dr. Kusara, who was my main advisor, and do a lot of work for school in general, not only for this this department, but also the whole university, Hiroshima University, and he's a vice dean, and that's why he has a lot of the meetings every day, and then it was really hard to find him when I was a graduate student, but yeah.
Okay, that's quite interesting. But as you mentioned, another professor, Kawaguchi Sensei, and your senior professor, like what he was a supervisor. But how can I say? So how can you make the professional relationship with other colleagues or some kind of professors in this department, this university, or your academic field?
Yeah, actually, I actually created a new technical term, the foreigner privilege. Foreigner privilege. Okay. Actually, in Japanese culture, people don't say directly, and they want to. How can I say that? They don't want to make others upset. So that's why they try not to say something to others, but. I just say that, and they understood. Oh, he's foreigner, and that's my definition of foreigner privilege. Okay. And then actually they are very understandable. And then I try to use the correct and polite words, but even though I say something directly, and. Yeah, we have a really good relationship. It's not like Korea. In Korea, it's kind of the more hierarchy things, and then they call me always professor, and then we are kind of flat relationship, and there's no power structure in our course. And with others. Outside of the universities, also kind of flat, I think, because we are talk about justice and the equality, freedom, social studies education. So maybe that is one of the reasons, I think.
Okay. Then do you usually meet some other international faculty members? Or international? Yeah, like in Hiroshima University, or just you usually talk with Japanese academics?
Usually Japanese academics, and then I sometimes hang out with you and then other Korean academics, and I usually hang out with Japanese academics. Yes.
How about the relationship with the students? Because you are international faculty, of course, other professional kind of relationships are also quite important. But I'm just wondering how to develop your relationship with students.
For graduate students, actually I was their senpai, senior, but now I'm a teacher, professor. Actually, they were kind of confused to what they should call me at my first lesson. And someone says Mr. Kim. Oh no, you should say Mr. Kim. He's Professor Kim now, and like that. And that was kind of funny. And then there was no problem with them because we already constructed our report. But also the undergraduate students, I was kind of worried about that because I'm a Korean, and when I say something about Japan or something, and then they may think, oh, the Korean say something like that. I was kind of worried about that. So that's why I'm doing self-study. Self-studies, are you familiar with that research method? Self-study. It's kind of teaching. Kind of similar, and then kind of is a research method to reflect on my teaching based on my how can I say, identity and my background, and so on. And then I'm focused on my foreignness, on my self-study. And she is my critical friend, and Kaguchi is my critical friend, and I suggest her to focus on female leading, because this is very male-dominant society, even in undergraduate students. And then they said kind of sexual harassment as a joke. That's kind of Japanese culture, you know. The shimoneta is kind of Japanese culture. But like that, even undergraduate student society is also very male-dominant. So that may affect her classroom too. So I suggest her to do the self-study based on that, focusing on that. And then we are kind of doing those kind of things to kind of overcome the obstacles that we are facing with.
Yes. So she helped a lot to you, and you.
Yeah, we are really good. How can I say? Academic friends, and then we are kind of academic partner. I think.
It's quite good. Good case to collaborate.
And then the research room is very close, and then we talk every day, and then.
Then do you collaborate with her, like not for the kind of academic life, but also like research?
Actually, now we are doing 4 or 5 projects together.
Oh, okay.
And
Collaborate quite a lot. Okay. Then related to your experience in here, so what do you think about this, how can I say, policy or system or culture in Japanese academia or this Hiroshima University or kind of department level?
How do I think?
Yeah. Like a culture, academic culture. You mentioned that you are quite, how can I say, equal relationship with other senior professors.
Yeah, I really like it.
How about, but main dominate culture, like but what do you think about this kind of system or policy? Or
What do I think about?
yeah. Also, as a junior academics here, like currently headquarters really focus on like performance, something like that, and also they hire just a junior academic as a contract based.
You mean those kind of system?
Yeah, system or some kind of academic culture.
Actually, in terms of the hiring system, I don't care about that much because I think I can survive wherever I go. So I think I can go back to Korea, or I can work here more, or I can go to the US and so on. And then I kind of open to wherever I work. So I'm not that, how can I say that? Not that nervous. No, I'm not that nervous about that. But my friends, my good friends who just got hired this year with me, and then he was kind of very worried about his contract conditions because he need to publish a CI journal within 5 years.
How many?
Within only one, but he'd never written any article in English, and he's not good at English, and he also knew that. He also knows that, so he felt a lot of pressure on that. And the culture in general, I like the Hiroshima University. I really like Hiroshima University culture. For instance, I keep comparing between South Korea and Japan. And South Korea is very hierarchical, and then here some part hierarchical, but in our course there's no power structure. Few power structure. I would say that, and I really like it. And then they respect me as an academic and professional, and so I like this culture. And yeah.
So you mentioned that you don't worry much about this kind of hierarchy system or policy.